We'll try this.
I had my hat on. I didn't want to offend you like last time.
No, why'd you offend me?
Oh no, because that was the first thing you asked. You were like, "Hey, so you used to wear hats. What's going on?"
Oh no, yeah. No, I saw you as the hat guy, and I used to make fun of you for wearing a hat. I don't know if you remember that. And then I ended up
It ended up
wearing hats.
Yeah, ended up flipping it on you.
Trying out this background. Do you see it?
Yeah, that's
we're sitting at a table.
It's very fall, very festive.
That's crazy. You'd be like, "What's up, bro?" Oh no, the other way. What's up, bro?
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. That's so stupid. All right, man. So let's get down to business.
Yeah.
Ideas. So yeah, man. I'm into the channel where you're talking about, making a YouTube channel and putting in like movie stuff, like like you said, review movies.
Well, it doesn't have to all be movies. I mean, there's obviously we were really into music back then too.
Right.
We were into shows with full seasons. I mean, it doesn't just have to stay to that. I mean, like I said, like I know I love The Office. I don't know if you love The Office.
I love The Office.
I mean, we could always review The Office per season.
Yeah. That sounds like fun.
We could always review like the X-Men, the animated series from when we were kids.
Man, I haven't seen that since we were kids. And honestly, I don't remember it. Like, I don't remember the storylines. I remember some pretty good ones though. I remember one, I don't know if it was, I think it was Spider-Man, but it was Spider-Man and Daredevil did like this mission where they had to take down Kingpin. It was just dope. It was dope.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, obviously there movies. I love movies. We get always like whenever we do like a movie something, we can like have a theme around it based on the movie. So like I love Tarintino movies. I don't know if you love Tarantino. I love Tarantino movies.
Nice.
So like, if we ever review like Reservoir Dogs, we could do the whole show in like a black suit and Ray-Bans.
That would be fucking dope.
Instead of being, calling each other by our names, we'll give each other the, the color names, but it'll be some like
magenta.
Yeah, magenta, cyan. Hey, Mr. Cyan. Hey, how's it going, Mr. Teal?
Cyan.
Yeah.
That's the best one, cyan.
Right? So it'll be some oddball fucking color instead of, like brown, green, yellow.
That'd be really fun, man. That'd be really fun. But one of the things I would like to do is we'll pick weeks when we're going to focus on something. I would like to watch the movie again just so I can get refreshed on it.
Yeah.
And then definitely get in there with, with more knowledge, because there's some movies like Reservoir Dogs. I don't remember the last time I saw that movie. That's a long time ago.
It'll probably, I don't know, like old friends review our youth kind of deal, like things from when we grew up and maybe not even that long ago. Like I'm trying to get my wife to watch Kill Bill, and she just like absolutely refuses. Like, oh, it's not that great. I was like, no, it's hilarious. It's great. Like everything about it is good, right? And so, like, let's say we're reviewing it, right? So, how Uma Thurman's character is named, but in like the first movie and like half of like the second one, we don't know her name because it keeps getting bleeped out. So anytime we're talking about it, oh, so the character, and every time we say it, it does.
We can edit it out.
We edit it out and be like,
that'd be fucking dope. Like, holy shit, that'd be dope.
Right? Like, the fuck? Why are you editing me out for, Joey? I'm not doing it. All right, well, and it does it again. What the fuck, Joey? Like you blurb out and then you blurb it out again, but you don't blurb out fuck.
Hey, that's easy to do. I can do that easy. I can do that. So, I can do that easy.
So then, like, with the whole time we're going like, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? Why isn't it letting us?
That's a really good idea.
So,
but like Tarantino movies. Oh man, like, and then there's some things I know we're gonna run into situations where there's gonna be movies you like, I don't like, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And that could be a cool episode where we just like kind of convince each other why this movie is great
And why it's not.
and then why it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, and the same thing with music. Like I know for one, like I know you guys like love Audio Slave.
Right.
I fucking hated Audio Slave.
But it's kind of like, now do you like them?
No, God, no.
You still don't like them? Yeah.
I think Audio Slave was the most bland, generic rock. Like you could see Tom Morello being bored out of his mind.
Dude, that could be a good episode because I can try to convince you that Audio Slave is great because they weren't great. For the first two albums, they were not great. The last album they did, that's when they started to get together and like actually sound like their own sound. Because it was very, 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 even like there's some songs on the first album I could show you. There's one called Hypnotize. Bro, what the fuck? It's like what the fuck kind of song is that? It's like, it doesn't make it's a bad song. I was just more into I really liked Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. And I felt that energy whenever I saw Audio Slave live many times, and I felt that energy. Like when I was there, I felt that rage energy and I loved it. Chris Cornell is a great singer, but I didn't think he did his best work in Audio Slave.
Yeah. So, there's that. And then, obviously, I think you've probably listened to more hip hop than I have. I've listened to a bunch, but I feel like you've listened to more than I have. And then you can introduce me to albums that I've never listened to or, hardly remember, and vice versa. I could introduce you into like something alternative that I was listening to back then that you might have not listened to.
Okay.
And likewise, we could always bring in friends like Jose for Dumb and Dumber. And, I'll, probably have like a fake bird on my shoulder with like, duct tape around it. And that'll be my thing for the episode. And, Jose will have something and you'll have something.
I'll chip
and
my
we'll
teeth.
Talk about why it was great back when we were kids, why it was great when we were in high school, and if it still holds up today as now we're adults.
Yeah, that sounds great. I like that. I like that idea. Dumb and Dumber is probably like one of the I just recently was arguing with someone over that movie, how it was the greatest movie, because it's like, and they were like, how is it great? They hated it. They're like, it's a stupid movie, but they hadn't seen it since it came out.
Yeah.
And they only saw that one time, my friend Ryan. And I was trying to tell him, like, man, it's like a drama with these two idiots in the middle of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like this, and even like, it was like a mystery, like a crime mystery. I don't even know how you explain it. You probably could explain it better, but it's like if you took out Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, it would be like a thriller, or like a mystery solved. I don't know how you'd call it.
Yeah. It was basically like Ransom, like
a ransom situation. Like, yeah, someone was an evil person. He almost got away. He's trying to get away with his money thing. He has these henchmen working for him. And so anyways, I just thought I was.
And ironically, the two idiots were making these dumbass moves that were unintentionally
genius.
Smart.
Yeah.
And they had everybody believing that they were like contracted professional hitmen.
Right. Just like they got lucky they got lucky a lot. Like they think he killed Joe Mantelino, the guy on the with the gas man. He killed him and shit. Yeah, it's really you've seen it.
It's like, how the fuck do they know I got gas?
Right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's a good movie. Do you like any of the Farrely Brother, any other Farrely Brother movies?
Yeah, I love I think this is his crown jewel for me. I mean, aside from Dumb and Dumber, is Kingpin.
Okay, that's the second movie they did. That's an underrated movie. I love that movie. A lot of people don't like that movie.
That movie is hilarious. And you know what's the great thing about it? Even though he's not hardly in it, but Bill Murray is so great in it. I remember we'll probably talk about it later with somebody else, but like I remember the most hilarious thing about that movie, and it was just completely improv, was when he's at the diner and he kicks Woody Harrelson to outside. Hey, go do this.
Yeah, go finish
and
that
he
outside.
looks at the other table. He's like, "Hi, hey, I'm not talking to you. He's
Yeah.
talking to the other one.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. I guess they said in real life, all that movie is he threw away the script. Like that whole movie, he didn't want to stick. He did everything improv, and there was a part at the end where he's in the video. I forget his name. The main character Munson is looking. He's like bummed out in Reno, looking at the TV, and he's seeing Bill Murray on the TV, like with all these girls.
Oh yeah, groping them and shit. Yeah.
Did you see that he pinched one of the girls' asses? And
he was totally groping them.
There's a girl. It's the director. It's one of the directors. I forget, it's Peter or Bobby Farrely. He pinches her ass, and she could see her kind of like do a little jump. Like he pinches her ass like for real. His wife.
I also heard the other part that was improv was when he wins the tournament and he goes and shakes his hand and he rips it off on accident and he throws it into the crowd. I think I had heard that was improv too.
I saw recently a trivia fact about that movie. There was supposed to be a where Bill Murray is shooting at the end when he's going against Munson. They're going for the finals, for the bowling finals, and Bill Murray is shooting. He shoots 3 strikes in a row. And originally the directors were like, "Look, you're probably not going to do it." He just they had like megaphones telling everybody in the stands, just every time he throws, just cheer like he did do it, right?
Yeah.
But he really hit 3 strikes in a row, so that last everyone's reaction and Bill Murray's reaction was real. Like They were all pumped up at the end, like, "Oh my god, it really did it!" I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I love the Farrely Brothers. Me, myself, and Irene. That was great.
Right. They kind of fell off after a while. I didn't really like.
And Something About Mary was them too. Right? Something About Mary.
Right. Stuck on You. I wasn't really into that one. I only saw it one time back in the day.
Obviously, like the sequel and prequels to Dumb and Dumber were fucking awful.
Yes, and you know why? And we could talk about that too. Like, why do you think that is? Was
Dumb and Dumber them?
No, Dumb and Dumber was not them.
Yeah,
Dumb and Dumber 2
which
was them. But here's the thing, and I feel like maybe I don't know what it is, but this is just me speculating. The first movie was written by Peter and Bobby Farrely, if you look at the credits. But a lot of times they lie. So maybe it wasn't like so I don't want to go off. So the credits said they wrote it. This new one, a bunch of different guys wrote it. Like one of the guys that wrote it, I think, I believe, if I recall, I might be wrong, was one of the guys who wrote Dumb and Dumber 2 was one of the guys who wrote Year One. You ever seen Year One with
Jack Black?
Right. So it's like, why? I would assume, like, if I was Peter or Bobby Farrely, like, I'm not going to get the guy who wrote Year One to write my movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I would assume, unless they knew him or he did something else that was great. I don't know. But it was sloppy in so many ways. Like, especially like they tried to do what the first one did. Like at the end, like all these people were in on it. Like, like that black girl in the first movie, how she was like, talking to Jeff Daniels.
The FBI,
yeah. Like she was slowly throughout the movie, and then in the end, it was like she was the FBI agent. They tried to do that in this one, but too late. Like with those guys. Remember the guys at the end?
You probably remember Dumb and Dumber 2?
Yeah, they tried to do the same thing.
I couldn't get past like the first 10 minutes.
Right. So, I mean, it's a good movie if you like want to watch it, analyze it. Like, watch it and analyze what is wrong about it. Like, just write down, okay, this is why it sucks. This is why it sucks. Like there's some Jim Carrey. There's some really funny moments in that movie. Some really genuinely funny moments. But like even the beginning, like, okay, so he's 30 years. He was lying to. He was pretending to be crazy, or you know what I mean? Like Jim Carrey was pretending this whole time. Yeah. Like that was already and then like Jeff Daniels' parents are Asian. Like, you see that part? No.
I don't.
They go. So they get in the. They go. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. They walk out of the apartments. The same apartments in the first one. They walk out, and then they go. I guess they're gonna go to Jeff Daniels' parents' house, and they get on a bike. And like, okay, let's go. And they literally go a block. they go a block, and that's where Jeff Daniels' parents lives. And they go in, and he basically goes in, and his parents are Asian as fuck, and they break the news to him that he's adopted. And it's like this whole like they didn't know, like it was. But then Jim Carrey the whole time is making Asian jokes toward them. It's like trying to be secret, like trying to be sneaky, but it's not. Like he's like trying to say dumb shit. There's some funny moments, but it like that right there. If I told you that, like if we're writing that out, what are they? They really thought that was funny.
Like, well, because I think that was the great thing about the first one is that everything was unintentional, and right from the bat, everything like what they were trying to do is very intentional to make them seem as stupid as possible.
Right. That's true. Yeah, like the whole Banaka thing, like that was. That's a pure example of he was unintentionally doing that. He thought he was doing the right thing, but he was really fucking everyone in the eye.
Yeah,
sitting next to him.
Great movie.
When he goes, this is $500 a plate, and he goes, oh, put us down for a second, or put us down for seconds, or whatever.
Oh, what was that? I had one. You're right in my head. Oh, right when remember when they got fired, and they said, did you have any luck today? No, not unless you want to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, that's a good movie. Do you know Jose's schedule? Is he able to do? Because it looks like we're gonna be doing mornings, huh?
I could always ask him. I know that he commutes to Lancaster because he's the manager over there at the Red Lobster. But I think he works 4 days and then he has 3 days off in a row. What 3 days those are, I'm not sure. But I think he's pretty open. Like me, him, and Adam have a text conversation that we've had for fucking years. And more recently, he's been chatting on it. Before he wasn't hardly getting on it. Now he's really getting on it. So I don't think it'd be too difficult. So we should be fine with Jose. Now, as far as like other friends, I don't know if this continues like next October, we could do horror movies. And Adam's a huge horror movie buff.
That'd be great. That'd be really great.
So I know probably like the first one he'd want to do, Alien.
Really? I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen that movie?
I've never seen Alien. I mean, I'm not against it. I just one of those movies I haven't seen.
It's great. Like it's how it's considered one of the greatest horror thriller movies of all time. But it's not only just in horror movies. Like I think it's considered top 100 greatest movies of all time. And that's just coming from like a horror movie.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I've heard that. Like I've heard that it's really good, and like all the rest aren't that great.
Alien, he did Alien. Aliens was James Cameron, which is also very, very great.
I'm confused. So there's an Alien and there's an Aliens plural.
Yeah. So because part two.
What? So, okay. So it's not called Alien Part 2. It's called Aliens.
Aliens, yeah. So Alien is Ripley,
right?
Like Gladiator and God, I forgot, but Ripley is a great director, and then James Cameron is just great at director, and he did Aliens. So Alien, the first one was like a horror thriller. Aliens was more like an action kind of deal, kind of like how Terminator, and then there's Terminator 2. It's like the first Terminator isn't like full blown like cinematics, but it controlled a great story. And then Terminator 2 fucking ramped up the action and the cinematography. Right. So the first two are great. Third one, no, the fourth one was god awful.
The fourth one?
Yeah.
What was that one called? Was that the one with Winona Ryder?
Oh, they were all with Winona Ryder. I think there's Alien, and then Aliens. Then I want to say Aliens 3 and then Aliens Resurrection. And yeah, the third and
Resurrection's the one I'm
fourth.
thinking of. And then they just made a new one with Ripley again.
Yeah, those are the kind of like the prequels to, like, if you watch it, like if you didn't know any better, you would think that they're just standalone movies, but there's actually like a whole like universe of, like side story and prequel and all that stuff. So he made God, what's the name of that movie? Which tells the story of how the aliens came about, and also how humans came about. Like, there's these engineers out in space, they have their own planet, and they'll go to a different planet, they'll drink something, they'll like dissolve into the planet, and they create life. And that's how like we came about, kind of. And sometimes when like we're kind of like experiments. So when things don't go the way they want us to, they'll like throw like a bunch of black canisters into our earth and kill us off. But somehow, like, one of them got into this black goo and kind of like created the aliens by accident, because their body kind of mutated with this black ooze, and it came about. Like, you have to watch the movies, probably like next October when we do this stuff, or Adam will really like deep dive into it.
Definitely, I'm down for that. Yeah, always wanted to watch it. I just never had a chance, really.
Oh, great! It's a great movie.
Never had a chance. Lately, we've been watching. My wife, I just showed her Kill Bill for the first time. She just watched that. Yeah.
She enjoy it?
She thought it was okay. But she's not into stuff like that. She's like into different shit. She's crazy. It's like, I mean, it sounds like just like your wife. Just like they're just not into it. Just different things, different.
Like or we could even do like a month of Scorsese. Like, I love Scorsese movies, and now she does too. Like, when we first met, she had never seen any of his movies. So one day, I think Goodfellas was about to come on, and I was like, "Oh, Goodfellas, we got to watch it." And she's all like, "Oh, well, I don't really like those kind of movies, those mafioso movies." I was like, "Shut up, and you're gonna watch it." So I sat her down and had her watch it with me. Now, anytime Goodfellas is on, like, it's dead set. Like, oh no, that's on, we're watching it. And then the same thing with like Casino. Like, oh, you like Goodfellas? You need to watch Casino. No, every time Casino's on, like, fucking Casino is like a almost 4 hour long movie. She'll sit down and watch it. Or
it's a good movie.
The Wolf of Wall Street, another great one. She, another like 3.5 hour long movie. She'll sit down and watch it. Doesn't matter what we're doing.
I really like Jonah Hill in that movie. I didn't think he was going to pull it off, but he was really funny in that movie.
Right. The whole movie is great. Like right. If you really think about it, The Wolf of Wall Street is what, if Scorsese got his hands on Dumb and Dumber, he would have created The Wolf of Wall Street. Because look at these idiots are like getting all this money in the most like stupidest way and wasting it in the most stupidest way, and they're unintentionally being hilarious about it. Right. Like, I remember thinking to myself, like, holy shit, like, I can't believe this is even a conversation that they're having. But when they're all at the table and they're talking about what kind of party they want to have for Friday in the office, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then Jonah Hill or somebody mentions to them, like, oh, you know what? We should like hire some midgets and throw them like lawn darts. And then they're all like, yeah, that's a good idea. All right. And then Jonah Hill's like, oh, well, you know what? Like, you guys, like, we need to keep it down with how we talk around them, because, they get, around each other and they start talking, and we don't want them giving us bad publicity and all this shit, right? And then he goes into this whole thing where, like, oh, make sure, like, when you talk to them, don't look them in the eye because, you know, it crosses their wires and shit, right? And then the other idiot with the glasses and the toupee is like, oh, yeah, that's true. I saw it on PBS. Right? And Leonardo DiCaprio, the ring, you know, the ringleader of it all, he's all sitting there. Yeah, you're right. We should probably, you know, not do that stuff. But yeah, hire them though.
Jeez. I've seen it again. I've seen it a couple times, but that's a movie that every time I watch it, I see something new every time.
Right.
Yeah, anything Scorsese is really good. We just watched the Departed. We just saw that recently, and my wife had never seen that, and she liked it. She was surprised at the end because it was one of those crazy endings.
Oh, did you know a little secret about that movie? There's a lot of like geometry in the movie in the background.
Geometry?
Yeah, geometry. So like when people are walking around, there's a lot of corners. There's a lot of like pillars. There's a lot of bracing around, right?
Right.
If you notice in the movie, every single person that died in the movie, except for, I forgot what two. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie.
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg and somebody else don't die in that movie, right?
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. Well, I think them two. If you notice, every single person in that movie that passes by like a certain angle in the movie, like let's say, you know how like you're passing by LAX and there's like pillars holding everything up and some of them are X'd, right? Everybody that died in that movie had their head passed by an angle in the movie where there's an X.
Really?
Except for them two. Yeah, so Leonardo and what's his face from Jack Nicholson and all those fools, at one point in that movie they passed by somewhere where there's an X in the background and they die.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
And I never thought that Scorsese was like that deep diver. I mean, great story writer, great director, everything, but I never he took that time to really like, you know, deep dive into like a background thing like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed him for that either. That's intense. I like
or
that.
like what's another thing that Tarantino does? He has to have at least one clock in the background that has to be pointed at 420 in one of his movies. I've never
heard of that before. I know there's a feet thing.
Yeah, something like that.
I never heard of that. That's another one that yeah, he's a good one. Did you like the last one he did? The Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
You know what? It's very not Tarantino until like the last 10 minutes.
Bro, that movie is great from start to finish.
Really?
There's so many things like kind of like what you're talking about, like those little hidden things in it. Like you saw the whole thing. There's a part where so it's when I've seen the movie like 18 times. I have it. I just watch it. Me and my kid will watch it over and over again. There's a part where I turned it off before the end, so because he's young. But there's a
that's
part
the best part.
But my kid, I don't want him to see all the violence. But there's a part where so he gets the flamethrower. Mm-hmm. It shows him in the beginning using it on the set, and he's like, you know. And then when he tells Brad Pitt, like, hey, there's no work for you today, just go home and can you fix something on the roof?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. That part. And he goes and he gets tools from the shed to go up there before he goes up to the roof. And when he opens the shed, you could see it's like
the flamethrower
in front of the camera when and you see him in the background, like in the silhouette, like you see him like in the doorway, you know, dark in there. But it's like stuff like that where it's like, oh, like you watch it again, you're like, oh, like it hints to little things, like, you know, there's hints to like the end, or it's just I love that movie. I really love that movie. And like the whole Bruce Lee scene, like that, there's a lot of like stuff there where it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Bruce Lee thing kind of bothered me a little bit because, you know, he says, oh, you know, I always heard that he was a douchebag, but then, you know, you hear other people talking about him online. He's like, no, he was great. He was humble. He was this, he was that. And like, who do you listen to? Like, because Quentin sometimes sounds like he's a little kind of above himself or full of himself, in the sense like everybody loves, Bruce Lee. I'm gonna not like him because it's not the thing to do,
Right.
But like
he does he talks about it. Have you seen the on Joe Rogan?
Yeah,
he's on there. Have you seen the episode?
Yeah, see, and he brought up this one, the one guy, I forget his name. They call him the father of MMA, but I've seen an interview with him where he praises Bruce Lee. He's all like, "Oh, he was a beautiful human being. He was great to work with," and of course, he talks about like, "Oh, he was terrible to the stuntmen and this and that," but one of his stuntmen was Jackie Chan. And Jackie Chan talks about a story. I think, what's the name of that movie? Not Enter the Dragon, but where they're on the island.
The Bruce Lee movie?
Yeah.
I want to say Enter the Dragon.
I don't think it was Enter the Dragon. It's another one. But there's a scene where he's kicking like all these guys' asses with like a kendo stick, right? And there's a scene where like he has the stick and wham, like he hits a guy right in the fucking head, right? And knocks him right out. Well, that guy was Jackie Chan. Well, I guess when they cut the scene, Jackie was still on the floor, and like Bruce runs up to him like, "Oh, you all right? You all right? I know I hit you, but I want to make it look as real as possible and this and that." And Jackie's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's all right, it's all right." And he's like, "Oh, so what's your name?" He's like, "Oh, it's Jackie." He's like, "All right, Jackie, I'll remember that." And I guess every time he like ran into him on set, he's like, "Jackie." Like, right. I mean, that is like, you could find it on YouTube. Like Jackie, like that's his like favorite story of all time. He took a hit from Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee's like, "Oh, sorry, but you know what? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know him, but I didn't take that scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like
That's
everything I watch in movies, bro, is like I watched that The Social Network, the Facebook movie.
Uh-huh.
You see that movie?
I haven't seen it.
David Fincher. It's David Fincher did it. It's there's parts of that movie, bro. Not just that. Okay, here's another one. Straight Outta Compton. You seen that one?
I haven't had the chance to.
Those are two movies or examples of kind of what this Bruce Lee thing is like. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, you weren't there. The writers weren't there when that happened. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many parts in Straight Outta Compton where it's like, how did they know this? How did they know this happened? Like parts where Eazy-E is talking to the manager. I forget the manager's name, but the guy who fucked him over allegedly. Yeah. There's part where they're talking alone, like they're alone talking, but it's like, who's there to verify this?
Yeah.
There's no one there. So all that shit I see, I take it like I literally watch it. Yeah, and I think of it as like, all right, whatever. This is just Hollywood making up shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing about like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we were talking about, is that it wasn't very Quentin Tarantino like, because usually he'll have something bloody or something crazy happen throughout the whole movie, right? Something like way over the top. And the only things I can remember from that movie was the Bruce Lee incident, where he's out there in that fucking ranch where those fucking young girls and those dudes took over, and Brad Pitt kicks the shit out of that one guy.
Yeah.
And then
that's the best part.
And then
acid cigarette.
Yeah, and then the end with the flamethrower, right?
Right.
Oh, and then I'm not gonna lie, that scene where he's like Leonardo DiCaprio is the cowboy, and he's sitting there and he's like crying.
That's a good part. That's a really good scene with that little girl.
Really good, yeah, that was a really good scene. But aside from that, I can't remember anything. And the only thing besides those really good parts that I remember is the scenes with Margot Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, if they cut out all her scenes in the movie, it'd make absolutely no difference.
Right. Right, right. But the whole thing for me, I had to watch it a couple times to get it. The whole thing for me was you have to know who Sharon Tate is
Mhm.
before you watch this movie. Like you have to know her what happened to her, right? Which I didn't know that the first time I watched it. I didn't know who Sharon Tate was. I heard of her, but you know who Sharon Tate is, right?
The actress that they killed up
In
there.
real life, yeah, they
Yeah.
killed her in that mansion. So that if they would have had like that a disclaimer in the beginning, or like maybe I don't know, they didn't have to do anything. He did fine. But my point is, after I found out who it was and I saw the movie, it made sense because the whole time you're thinking, okay, like if you know the story, you're thinking, okay, this bitch is gonna die
Hmm.
gruesomely, and it all starts to come to that. Like it slowly, like you see her go watch. She's like on her own watching her movie. You're kind of seeing her as a lively person, like kind of understanding who she is. She's an actress. She's pregnant. She's so it's like okay, this is her like they're days before she's gonna die. But then once the ending hits, it's like whoa, like these fucking guys threw off like this timeline. He threw it off
Yeah.
all because they all because of their like him going to the ranch, Brad Pitt going to the branch,
Yeah.
and then Leonardo DiCaprio going outside and screaming at them, with his margarita, like, what the fuck, you fucking hippies.
And
Like
the
those,
dog. The dog was great.
right. Yeah, and there's so many good parts. Like, and there's a part like where at the end where he's Brad Pitt's still on acid, and they're like asking him. He's like, I don't know. He came in and he said he was the devil and he wanted to do some devil shit. He goes something like that. That shit was fucking dumb. But yeah, I've seen it like many times, and I'm every time I watch it, I see things and I appreciate it more. Like just little things like Kurt Russell. So like Kurt Russell, remember Kurt Russell's in it? No,
I want to say that. Yeah, I remember Kurt Russell. I'm just trying to remember what he was
he
doing. Was he
was the
one of the
director.
agents?
He was a
Oh yeah.
director who had to kick him out because his wife showed up, and his wife yelled at because they when he was fighting Bruce Lee, they fucked up her car,
Hmm.
and get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here. She was saying, it's cool. Like Kurt Russell and that girl, they were both in Death Proof, and they're enemies in Death Proof. They
Oh
like
yeah.
she was trying to fight him in Death Proof. I thought that was pretty cool. When like now they're married in this movie, it's just like crazy.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it again. I only saw it once, and I thought to myself, man, like
Oh, you only saw
all
it
the
once.
Quentin
Okay,
Tarantino
that
was
makes
like,
sense.
it was only it was only at the last
Right.
5-10 minutes
The
of it.
first time I saw it, I didn't like it. The first time I saw it, I was like, "This is." It didn't make because I know who Sharon Tate was, and like you said, like it was just all blur to me. Like it was only certain things that stood out. But now that I've watched it over and over again, I've analyzed it. It's like one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies right now. Like one of my favorite.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, just Brad Pitt and even like watching Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio together like that. Oh man, it just makes me happy every time. Like just seeing them together and the way they talk back and forth and they're I love it. I love that movie. I really do. That movie, and then I recently saw Jackie Brown. That's a really good movie. I love that movie.
I have that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh man, such a good movie.
I think I've only seen that once too. But I mean, the go tos are always Reservoir Dogs, the Kill Bills, the Inglorious Bastards.
That's one
Uh,
I've only seen one time.
you've only seen one time.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. Like
Really?
from the first time I saw it, I was like, this is a great movie. You want other movies you have to watch numerous amount of times. Yeah, Glorious Bastards. That I mean, from the music, from the cinematography, from the storytelling, it was all great. I mean, and it was in pretty much like, I feel like it's the prequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because you think you know the story and then you find out that it happens
Right.
differently at the end.
Right. I remember that. I remember that happening. I remember being surprised because I thought I knew how Hitler died, but I guess.
Well, I mean, according to the book of Tarantino,
Right.
the book of Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, that's a great movie too.
That's probably one of my go-tos. My main go-to is Pulp Fiction. That's like one of my favorite movies ever. That's like my go-to. There's
Right?
so
Yeah.
many. There's so many trivia things in that one. Like John Travolta. He
Mhm.
he's a heroin addict. And I didn't know this. My brother told me this. He told me that every time, so heroin addicts are known for being constipated. So every time he goes to the bathroom, he takes too long. And 3 times in that movie, when he goes to the bathroom, he fucks up. Something fucking happens. Always something happens.
And then like other little trivial things, like the car that crashes through the house. That was Quentin's car.
Yeah.
And then it got stolen.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. It got stolen, and he didn't get it back for like another 14 years.
Oh shit! He got it back 14 years later.
Yeah.
Whoa!
And then
can you imagine that?
I don't want that car no more. The Jerry curl incident with Samuel L. Jackson.
It was an accident.
A complete accident. He was supposed, like, the guy was supposed to get a different kind of wig, and then he showed up with like a Jerry curl. I think it was supposed to be an afro, right? And the guy, he didn't know the difference between an afro and a Jerry curl.
What a fucking idiot.
So he got the Jerry curl, and I guess Tarintino was all like, "What the fuck? Like, no, get that get the shit out of here." And I think Samuel L. Jackson said, "Well, you know, Ice Cube had a Jerry curl, and he's a bad motherfucker."
Right. It was a cool thing back then, from what I remember, like the 80s, 90s, early 90s. It was like the cool thing.
And then the wallet, the bad motherfucker wallet.
Yep,
that's Quentin Tarantino's.
Yep, I remember that.
The wallet. And then
Jules and Vincent were named. Did you know that Danny DeVito was a producer in that movie?
No.
Yeah, and he insisted, because he gave him money to do it. He insisted that they name the lead characters Jules and Vincent, just like his movie in Twins. Him and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, he insisted on that. That's crazy.
That's a good movie too, Twins.
I just saw that movie recently for the first time in years. And
really?
That it's been years, but supposedly they're making a sequel. It's called Triplets, and Eddie Murphy is the lost triplet.
What?
Right. That's what the movie's about.
God.
It's Eddie Murphy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Danny DeVito.
Man. Well, it's gonna be kind of hard now, because now the only thing I see Danny DeVito as is Frank.
Right. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Do you watch Sunny?
Yeah.
You seen all of them?
Because I sent you that video, remember? Because that was the other thing. We were supposed to also play jokes on people. Remember the implication?
Right.
Remember I sent you the video of the implication? I was like, you know, it'd be funny if we went out to public places and started reciting screenplays of like weird, awkward things.
That's right. Okay.
And I remember, and I sent you the thing of the implication.
I didn't. I remember the implication, but I forgot that it was a Sunny reference. Yeah. Okay. So you've seen all of them?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's the thing we could talk about too. How it changed. That show changed from like the first 6 seasons till now. Like the first 6 seasons were like a certain type of comedy, certain type of humor, and now it's become like just off the rails. Like everything Frank does now is ridiculous. D now is like ridiculous. In the beginning, they were like more put together. All of them were more more put
for
together.
The bar, it was always for the bar,
right? They were more calm. They were more, they thought more. Now it's like they don't give a fuck. They're just like wild, gone out the door.
I don't know if you remember. They made an episode about that. Because
which
remember
one?
there was an episode where Dennis, he's like fed up with everything, right? And he said to himself, I used to be a cool, collected, silent guy. I used to be the guy in the Range Rover. And then you come along with your fucking money and, start producing all these bad habits. Mac over here, doing this. Charlie's wearing costumes. You're wearing spots.
Vaguely
Do you
remember
think
that.
she can act?
I vaguely remember that because I'll breeze through a season. Like when it's on TV, like when it's new, I'll watch them as they come out. And I'll like forget until I watch the season, like I binge it. Like when I binge the season, that's when I retain it more.
Oh, I remember what it was called. It was called The Gang Misses the Boat, and that was when they were trying. Yeah, because Dennis was in the car driving them all to like a boat party, and he's like, how long it took me to get those girls to invite us and this and that, and fucking D taking 3 hours to put on a costume. You guys are sucking worms, drip, doused in vodka, and all this shit, right? And they get to the boat, and they're all like, they missed it, and it's like far out into the lake or whatever. And he said, "You know what? I'm going for it." And they're like, "Are you serious? You're gonna take the Land Rover into the water?" He's like, "Are you kidding? This is an amphibious vehicle."
I don't remember that.
And then it gets stuck in the water.
That. And then the next episode or episodes later, he's trying to sell the car in the water.
Yeah,
I remember that. Okay, yeah, I remember that. This is not a starter vehicle. He's like going off on that guy.
Yeah, the Golden God.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So I remember that. But so like for example, recently, my cousin loves Sunny. And it was his birthday, and I bought him you ever heard of Cameo?
Yeah, the website.
Yeah, that website. And I bought a Cameo from Little Kev, the guy who the retarded guy from Sunny. And I did it's like $60, and I ended up like I give him information on my cousin now, and my cousin's super anti-vax. So I was like, could you like write a rap about him being anti-vax? And he was like, cool. And he ended up hitting me back, and I wanted him to say, like, is it cool if you emphasize like who's retarded now, like at the end of, if like call my cousin retarded for being anti-vax, just like joking. And he hit me back. You can text through there, and he hit me back with saying, "Hey man, I appreciate it, everything, but as I can do everything except for I can't say retarded." He's like, I can't, I don't do that. I can't say retarded anymore. Yeah. And I was like, oh, all right, it's cool, man. Whatever, it's fine. But I didn't think about that. Like, you can't say that word anymore. Like that word's not.
You can't say a lot of things now.
Right. Which makes sense. I mean, I get it, but it's like, all right, I didn't think about it. So I was like, yeah, man, do your thing. And so instead of retarded, he would say special. He would use special, and it came out pretty cool. Like he would just
Special K. That was his name, wasn't it? Special K.
Was it? I know that from something, but I don't know if it was from there.
I could have sworn that was. Oh no, that was his nickname in school. They used to call him Special K.
That's right. Okay.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy, and that's like an example of like how crazy, how old Sunny is. Another thing is, I have the DVDs, and I also have a Hulu, and all the episodes of Sunny are on Hulu. They took off all the Lethal Weapon 5.
There's 3 that they took down.
Which 3? I know the 2 ones, the Lethal Weapon 5 and Lethal Weapon 6.
The Lethal Weapon ones, and there's another one.
I wonder which one, because I
can't remember because it's one of my favorite episodes too. But
I think Google it.
Yeah, you can Google it. It's 3 of them, and I've talked to Adam about it too. And I said, it's ironic because the premise of the show now, from when it first started, because like the first 2-3 seasons, it was always for the bar, right, to do things for the bar, and then it eventually became like, hey, this is a story of the 5 worst possible people ever, right? Like they're just horrible people, so you should already be expecting that, right? But they took out the episodes where they do blackface.
I see them, but I don't know why. Okay, there's 4 episodes they took out. It's D. Reynolds Shaping America's Youth.
Yeah, that's one.
The gang recycles their trash.
That's the one, because I love that episode.
Remind me what that is.
That's the one where they pretty much go through the whole episode already committing ideas that they did. And then remember at the end of one of the episodes, or like, wild card, bitches. And then he jumps out because he cuts the brakes.
Right.
Well, there's another episode where they're recycling the same ideas over and over. And then at the end, they're in the van again, and he says, wild card, bitches. And they're like, and he jumps out the van. He's like, oh, good thing that we knew that he was going to cut the brakes, and we replaced them, and they continue on with the episode. That's that one.
Okay. I vaguely remember that one. So the gang makes Lethal Weapon 6, and then D-Day.
Oh, that's the one where it was that was her one time a year to make them do whatever they want.
Right, but I don't remember that. That was
And you know what?
recently.
That's one of a more recent one
Right, that
too.
was a recent one. I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that happening. I remember they did a couple of ones like that where they redid with girls. Like I remember they did the Wade Bog challenge,
Yeah.
and they did a girl one. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That one was
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that one. I remember
The
the
feminist
first
edition,
one,
I think.
right? Which the snail was the one in first class. Gail the
Yeah.
snail was buying all the shit, buying all the alcohol. Yeah. So D-Day. I wish I remembered that one. But
Well, see,
I remember Shaping America's Youth. That's the one where Charlie and D work at the school.
yeah, and you know the Juggalo kid started
ICP,
doing
yeah.
blackface. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end, he was wearing blackface. That's
Yeah.
crazy. The gang recycles their trash. I don't remember. So it's saying that they pulled them off of Hulu, but you can buy them on YouTube. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, no, I'll say that the recycling one, that's one of my favorite episodes, and I'm mad that they took that one down. But like I have I have these conversations with Adam, like you know, they're about like the worst people ever, right?
Right.
Like really think about what they do. Like they're terrible. And everything about every single episode could be offensive to somebody, right? But they specifically took out the ones with blackface. Okay, we get it, right? But I told them, I was like, isn't it ironic that they'll take down like the blackface ones, but the episode where I don't know if you remember where they're fighting over the lottery ticket.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it was like
faggot.
20, yeah, and he called him a faggot.
F word. Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't taken that one down.
Right. But now that you mention it, fuck. And you know what else, dude? They say the N word. Charlie says the N word a lot, which in the very first episode he says it. Remember that?
With the gay bar.
Right. So Charlie says it in the first episode, which was, I don't remember it that well. I mean, I watched it recently, but when it first came out, it didn't hit me that hard. But the one that hit me hard is that same episode where they say the F word, faggot. They end up saying the N word. Charlie says the N word in that episode, and that one hit me different. I was like, whoa, it didn't feel good. I was like, why are they letting him say that? But hey, it's a TV show, and that's something that I was talking to someone recently about, the word retarded and the word faggot. Both are words we grew up saying often. I did. I don't know about you. We grew up saying them as like more like stupid. Like both those words were considered stupid.
It's lost its meaning. It's what's the word? God, I just used it the other, but it doesn't mean what it meant before, right?
Right.
So a perfect example is with South Park did it. Remember the biker fags?
I don't remember that.
There's an episode where like these dudes, like these middle-aged dudes, like this biker gang, right? They're riding around their Harley Davidson, making a bunch of noise with them, but they're making, typical South Park, the dudes are making it with their mouths, right? Driving around all South Park doing that, right?
Right.
So the kids are like, oh, we're so fed up with these biker fags and all those biker fags. I wish they'd leave, and all those biker fags, this, biker fags, that, right? Well, the adults get wind of it, right? So they sit them down and they tell them like, hey, you can't be calling them that. Like, can't be calling them what? Those words that you guys can't be calling them that. Like, are you talking about biker fags? And they're like, yes, you can't say it. And like, well, why not? If they are biker fags, like, well, it's just a very bad word. You can't say it. It's like, well, why? What does it mean? Like, you don't know what it means? No, but we just know that they're biker fags. Well, you can't call them that because it's a very derogatory term for a homosexual. And they're like, what? We never said anything about them being gay. We're just calling them biker fags.
Right.
And they're like, no, that's a derogatory term for a homosexual. And they're like, no, if we were making fun of them for being gay, we would have called them gay fags, but they're biker fags.
Right.
Yeah.
So we weren't using it as kids, at least me, I wasn't using it in the real terms when I would use the F word or the R word, what they call them now. But those two words are both like, there is no, even though we were using it wrong, there is no real good way at all in language, in our society, and to use them in the way they are. You can't just be like, that guy over there, he's a faggot. There's no good way to use faggot. There's no good way to use retarded. There's no good way to use those words. So it's like, just don't say them. So that's like, what it comes down
obviously
to.
when we were like growing up, like, if we were at school, like we didn't have money, he's like, hey, let me borrow $1 so I could get a pizza. No, I don't want to. Man, stop being a faggot. Give me $1.
Right.
Like, we didn't mean like, oh yeah, you're gay. It's like, stop being fucking lame. Stop being stupid. Let me borrow $1.
Right. But one of the things I've been trying to do the last couple of years of my life, or just as I'm getting older, is try to say what I mean as clearly as possible. Like, try not to like even like what's up, like stuff like that. It's like, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's a greeting, but the real translation of that is what is up? Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
I'm trying my best to use my words as clear and as clean as possible.
Well, you see, and it's funny because again, it's something that me, Adam, and Jose talked about. Well, they did, because Adam brought up a story that happened. He said, "Oh yeah, he kicked her out of his car." Like, we know what he means. Like,
right.
He get out of the car. And Jose, being, I think he was drunk, said, what the fuck? That doesn't even make any sense. Did he literally kick her out of the car?
Right.
So I wake up the following morning reading these texts, and I start laughing. I was like, fucking Jose. And I wrote this long old thing, and I said, oh, was the refrigerator literally running? What did it literally rain cats and dogs?
Yeah.
Why are they called apartments if they're not apart? It was a whole long text, right?
Why do you park in the driveway and drive in parkways?
Right. So here, let me find it real quick. But it was long. But yeah, like, seriously, like, like, how did you not get it, Jose? Or maybe he was just being stupid and trying to. Or maybe
he took it literal when he was drunk, and like you said, and he took it way too literal.
Oh, okay. So I said, was the case literally cracked? Did it literally rain cats and dogs? Did you literally hit hay when you went to sleep?
Hay.
Were you literally stuck between a rock and a hard place? Right. Did you literally burn a bridge when you decided not to be friends anymore?
Right. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just try to be as clear as possible, because I don't know. So I kind of get this uproar, right? Why people are saying, like, don't say those words anymore. I get it. I completely understand.
I mean, I guess, for me, it's like, at what point do you stop? I mean, because that's the whole Chappelle controversy right now, right?
Right.
They're just jokes. And he said it many a times before on the other specials, like, I don't hate you guys. I want equal rights for everybody. We should all be equally safe in, living our lives the way we want to, and this and that. But it's kind of funny how you guys, like, are living, how, your lives are.
Right.
And, how is it that all of us, the rest of us, can take a joke? It's just, them specifically that, like, get really offended. At what point do you, can you stop being offended for something that's just words? At no point did he ever say, like, oh, you guys should burn, you guys should get beat up, should this and that. I mean, he's made fun of the Chinese, he's made fun of the Mexicans, he's made fun of whites, he's made fun of blacks, he's made fun of gays, he's made fun of lesbians, he's made fun of anybody that he finds a funny situation about, right?
Right. Well,
But
let me ask you this real quick.
Mhm.
Can you explain to me, because I saw it, but can you explain to me what exactly are people upset about? Like, what exactly are they upset about? Because I'm
again, like
confused.
for me, I think the one that kind of hit them the hardest was when he said, like, you guys, you got to follow the science. We all came out of a certain person. What person was that? A woman. Well, according to, the trans people and some other people, like, gender is like irrelevant. Like, it, man doesn't necessarily have to be man, woman doesn't necessarily have to be, woman doesn't have to necessarily be woman, and if a man wants to convert to woman and, they can't give birth, that, that's irrelevant too. Or if they can produce like breast milk, if this woman doesn't, turning into man doesn't really have a penis, that shouldn't keep them from being, considered a man. So when he said, you got to follow the science, I believe that, we all came from a certain person, and that was, women, and that kind of just like, for the men trying to convert to women, because I mean, they can't really give birth,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay,
And
so
then
I'd missed that. I must have missed that because I thought it was the because of the baby thing.
that too.
Because I get that, and he made a good point with that when he's
Yeah,
talking about
no.
how the baby shot someone in Walmart, and then uh, I forget exactly what the fuck I was talking about, and how he got away with it, but
Yeah.
then someone can't get away with calling out, LGBTQ.
BTQ, yeah. And then aside, and then, like, how is it possible that, like, it took it was such a big deal for Muhammad Ali to change his name legally to Muhammad Ali from Cassius Clay, and Caitlyn Jenner could from one day, be Bruce to Caitlyn, from one day to the next, and be perfectly fine.
Right, but times have changed.
Yeah, no, I get it. Times have changed, but again,
Sure, if she tried doing that shit back then,
so
they wouldn't have fucking let her either.
So he made the point, like, at what point is it? I mean, he didn't say it, but it's in the sense is like, at what point is it hate speech, and at what point isn't, right? At no point did he ever say, like, you can't be a woman be a man, and man be a woman, and this and that, or any of that. He just kind of made fun of it, which, again, like us, when we were young, we made fun of each other for anything and everything.
Yeah.
Remember at one point, like, how terrible it was? Like, remember The Voice?
And the voice?
The Voice. I like to call it The Voice. And please, I really don't want to do it because it took a long time to get rid of it.
What voice?
Remember the I'm a bitch voice?
Yeah. What about it?
Remember how long it took us to get rid of that? And, like, at one point, we couldn't even, like, hang around each other without us just constantly making fun of each other. We couldn't
I'm
have
a bitch.
Yeah, we couldn't have, like, proper conversations.
Did you see the
like,
did you see the Cup Dog interview I did?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I took it out, but I mean, I probably might put it back in, because it just didn't make sense. And in the middle of we talk about deep shit, and in the middle he talks about how it started. I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
How he invented it. I guess he came into class late one morning, and the teacher wasn't there, so he's like, "Cool, like I made it. Like I'm safe." It was like first period, comes in, and Byron. It hits him.
I remember
him
them
with,
too. It was them too.
Byron hits him with the oh, I'm late, and that's when Cup Dog just, I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that easy, huh?
Yeah. At one point, remember, like, we'd be hanging out, and one of us would come in. Look at me, my little black shirt and my little hat.
The voice you call it? That's crazy,
right?
I never heard it called that before. That's a really good way to put it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else they call it besides the boys, but it took a long time to get rid of it. But we'd make fun of each other for anything and everything, right? At what point do you really get offended because I mean, we'd say some pretty terrible things about each other, right?
Right.
He never said anything remotely like hateful, you know, in the sense like, oh, you guys deserve to be burned, or you guys don't deserve this or that. And he always said, like, you guys deserve, you know, all the safety in the world, all the happiness, how you want to live your life, go for it, right? But and he even told the story at the end with his friend, right? Daphne. It's like it went right over their heads. Like he told,
some of the people that he talks about a gay person all the time. You know who it is he's talking about?
who?
The guy from Half Baked, the Mexican dude or the Hispanic dude. He's gay. Did you know that?
Oh yeah.
He's gay in real life. He's half the time in his special he's talking about him.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Right. And that's one of the
you're
ones.
Cool.
Right.
Fuck you, that guy.
And he does a whole like I forget where he does a whole interview talking about that's how he became an actor, is trying to figure out how to be as male as possible, because he's fucking gay as shit. And he that's why and he was just trying to find a way to hide who he was for so long. And now he
does a good job.
Right. He's a very good actor. But now that he's out and open, he's like super like he looks happier, you know, and he's that's what created him to be such a great actor, is him trying to hide it, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah, but no, and I forgot what story. I'll try to find it and send it to you. But there's a story where he's talking about how he got offended. He got offended one time at something that Chappelle said, and they got together and hashed it out. And they're cool. They've always been cool. But he's one of the people he was talking about on his stand-up one day. I forget.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Like I think the other day, like I had said something, and Jose said, like, "Damn, dude, like, how do you talk to your daughters like about that stuff? Like, I don't bring it up. Like, I don't make color a thing. I don't make culture a thing. I don't. You know, we're all part of this. I mean, they don't know how to speak Spanish, but they understand it. They, you know, like I may live over here in Silver Creek, you know, the kind of like middle class, I guess what you can say, but like the school is predominantly Hispanic, because I mean that's the majority now.
Oh wow.
But I mean, you know, like one of my oldest daughter's friends when she first started school was a little black girl, and she was the nicest little thing. The little one's best friend is Japanese. They'll get on YouTube and they'll like look at things from, you know, Japan or from like Brazil or from Germany and Italy, and they all take to it. I mean, they know words from all around the world, but you know, it's when you decide to make it an issue, then that's when the problem starts.
Right. So I don't think, I mean, I feel like all the Chappelle stuff is what Chappelle said is just starting a conversation, which is good, because I mean, you don't know, these people who are up in arms about it, you know, upset about it, maybe, you know, who knows what's going on in their lives. Maybe they just got back from the grocery store where they just got discriminated against, and then they watched the Chappelle thing, and then they just get even more hyped up. You know, who knows?
But I mean, it's not really discrimination now, is it? It's just,
I'm talking about, like, let's say someone who is trans or LGBTQ, whoever, was at the grocery store, and someone disrespects them for being who they are, right? And then they come home trying to wind down, and they watch the Chappelle, and then they forget it, like it like lights the match, like, you know what I mean? Like they're already soaked in kerosene, and then that's what lit the match. When really, if you just focus on the Chappelle thing, he's just, like you said, he's just trying to start a conversation. He's breaking down the differences realistically, you know, like talking about Muhammad Ali versus, you know, Caitlyn Jenner. And I get that, but I mean, if you have to be, who knows what's going on in their lives, these people who are upset about it. I mean, that's what I saw, that I saw the Chappelle stand up. I saw the last couple. And my thing about it is he seems really angry. The last, like, he did one, it's called like 7, I forget what the fuck it's like, it's his special. It's like a 10-minute, 20-minute special where he is talking about George Floyd right after George Floyd died.
Over there at his farm or whatever.
Right. You seen that one?
Yeah.
That is not funny at all. That one
It's
is,
not.
it's like super, he's angry. He's just trying to get stuff off his mind. And
Yeah.
that's what I took this last one as. It's like more of kind of like a continuation of that vibe where there were some jokes in there. I laughed a couple times, but as a whole, that thing was really just him talking, trying to get things out of his head. I think just he's so focused. He's like has all this in his head.
Well, I think he's gotten to the point where he's so good where he tells a story and he unintentionally makes it funny.
Right.
That's how good he's gotten.
But this last one wasn't it. I mean, I didn't think it was like that. That's probably one of, there's so many other better ones he's done. Like this last one wasn't that great compared to what he's done. And I mean, but even without the controversy, like I saw it, I was like, whatever, it was whatever, killing him softly. That's like one of my favorite. That's my favorite Chappelle thing ever. Like that's the best. That's him at his like best.
Yeah, that is good.
Goofy, just
stupid. I don't know. Probably rewatch it again because, like I said,
I will. I definitely will.
It seems like everybody, like some people got in, some people didn't. Like the Daphne story, that was really sad, right? That was incredibly sad.
Daphne
and he
story?
told a story.
I probably didn't see it.
At the very end when he talks about how his trans friend took her life.
Okay, okay, that's Daphne.
So I mean, it's affected him too, and it I guess what I took away from it is like, at what point do we need to stop kneeling for a very small group of people? Like, how many times, like even, on Sunny, they had mentioned one time, like something about Mexicans, right? And they're all like, no, the Spaniards got together with the Aztecs, they banged and then created the Mexicans.
Right.
Right. Am I throwing a fit about it?
Well, it's true. That's what happened.
Right. But I mean, but people would argue, no, it's not.
Isn't that how Mexicans were made?
Well, I mean, I really don't know. I don't know how we all came about to be, right? But
because the Spaniards conquered Mexico.
Yeah, I know that. But I mean, you also got to think that there was Mormons in Utah that moved down to Mexico, right? That's why there's a lot of, aside from what the Spaniards brought about, there's a lot of like blue-eyed, green-eyed, blonde-haired Mexicans down there because of Mormons.
Right. And my wife, to go off of that, to kind of go off on this subject, my wife was telling me about how somewhere in the like Gulf of Mexico, on that side of Mexico, I don't know if it's Irish or German people. There's a lot of those people who left years ago.
Yeah, there's Mexicans down there with German last names.
Right. And there's like a whole area where they look like tall, redheaded, pale Mexicans, but they're I forget if it's Danish or I forget what, but something came over there and then turned into a different type of Mexican.
When Hitler was trying to like find things out about the U.S. and how he could like come over here and try to take over, he sent Nazis down to Mexico to like scout the country, and some of them, obviously with what happened, they had to stay down there and hide. So there's that too.
Right.
But like I said, how many Mexicans came along and like threw a big old fit because of what they said? Right.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but like people just get upset nowadays. People just get upset for crazy things, and I get it, but I don't at the same time. Like I don't. Like I get the Harvey Weinstein. I get that. I get
like
that.
I said, it's
people like Harvey Weinstein need to get shut down, but like Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Louis C.K.?
Yeah, he was like jerking off on the phone with people, or like people would be in his apartment or whatever, and he just all of a sudden started jerking off.
And he had their consent.
Yeah.
He allegedly had their consent, right? Which is like some weird shit. But I think the problem with the Louis thing is he got their consent. Like he asked the girls, hey, I'm going to jack off in front of you. Is that cool? And then they're like, yeah. But the way they said, yeah, like it was more of like you put them in that situation to make them say that when really they wanted to say no, but they didn't know how to say no. So it's a really should be a conversation about, we need to teach people, not just women, people in general, if they feel uncomfortable, say no.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel like you need to please this person. And that's the real problem I saw from that situation. But they canceled him.
Yeah.
For that, which is, yeah, he shouldn't have done that. But you don't compare someone like him to a Harvey Weinstein who would push women in corners and rape them.
Yeah.
Like, that is a different monster. So I can see I could see why you want to put these two people together in the same room, in the same box, but they're not the same. Like, we need to teach people. Like, I'm going to teach my kids, and hopefully, you know, our generation will teach our kids to don't take that shit. If someone's asking you, can I jack off in front of you? If you're not into it, then say no. Yeah. Like, don't be like, I guess. No, yes or no.
Like, yeah, you could do it in the other room if you want.
Yeah. Yes.
You got plenty of toilet paper in the bathroom.
Yeah. We can talk at the door. We really need to,
Yeah, wrap a sock around the knob. It's all right.
Yeah. So
just make sure you wash your hands afterwards.
But this cancel culture stuff is really, really interesting to me, because we've never been through this before, and I'm kind of interested.
Like I told you last time, we would have been canceled a long time ago.
Right, and kind of like what's going on with podcasts now, which I've noticed. I really regret not recording those. Man, we basically did podcasts back then. Yeah. That's basically what we're doing. We're all sitting around just talking, telling stories, being goofballs.
Mm-hmm. We just needed the sound effects, like the boing, the lasers.
We needed to have all the knowledge we have now of just record it and go, because, man, we had some really, really good conversations back then. Things I wish I remembered with people that I don't even remember. Like, I remember your cousin.
Yeah.
He only spoke Spanish. He spoke very little English. How's he doing?
Seattle.
Huh?
He's in Seattle.
Is he like, he speaks English really well now and shit?
Yeah.
I bet. I knew that. I felt that. Like, he's just like super American now.
Yeah. And it's funny, like I said, but I got to go pick up my kids. We'll talk about this next week or something.
For sure. Let me know when you're free and we can do another hour or whatever. Maybe we could start next week. I don't know what you want to do. I'd be down if you want to start.
I'll talk to Jose.
Yeah, or if you want to, whatever else you want to do. If you can't get Jose, we do another movie, and just let me know beforehand. I'll watch it and we'll do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. It was great talking to you.
You too. Later,
man. Peace.